My main topic is animals being used for testing and why animal experimentation is unnecessary. Thousands of animals are killed each year, and thousands of innocent animals are being used, stripped and left for death, being tested on cosmetics and medicines. None of these animals that were being tested on were administered anesthesia to stop severe pain. Innocent animals were being robbed of life for our own selfish gain, and in the worst way possible. In Canada, over 98,000 were tested without anesthesia. This means 98,000 animals suffered all the way through the testing process and were not given 1 ounce of relief. According to the Washington Post, animal testing is not effective in 75% of cases, meaning we are putting these poor creatures through an excruciating experiment with a 25% chance of hope that something resourceful will come out of it. There are debates about killing animals for the sake of testing products being completely unethical. Animals have no say in whether or not they want to be tested, meaning we are stripping them from their natural rights. No, they are not humans, but it does not mean we should. No, they are not humans, but this does not mean we should be. And many times, when the experiments fail, there is complete loss of animal life, and some scientists in renowned institutes use these animals very liberally. Have you ever thought about what happens behind the scenes within the testing of cosmetic products that are purchased daily, or that bleach cleaner sold in department stores? What about how every 7 seconds that passes by, an animal in a European laboratory dies? Animals often undergo cruel methods of testing and suffer greatly as a result. Animal experimentation is both cruel and unnecessary, and humans have no right to put innocent animals through such torture. Scientists often do not benefit from testing on animals, as they are so different from us and react differently to drugs. Results obtained from experimenting on animals are also unreliable. They are cut up, poisoned, and deprived of food and water, and are forced to live in harsh conditions. How could anyone begin to imagine what these poor creatures go through? Many of the products that they are tested on put the innocent animals' health in danger. Animal testing is used to perfect productivity on many cosmetics, medicines, and household products. But there is a reason we are not testing these experiments on humans. We are afraid of endangering the life, and the same should go for animals. Since they cannot look out for themselves and speak on their own behalf, it is our responsibility to do it for them, and we are failing. Animal testing, also known as animal experimentation, is the use of non-humans in research and develop products for the sole purpose of determining the safety of products. Many companies believe that there are no alternatives. Little do they know there are. As said earlier, animal testing is not effective in 75% of cases. It is inhumane, and nearly all the animals being tested on are abused and left to die in harsh conditions. The animals that are being tested on are not put in stable conditions. To begin with, which could mess with the results and put a halt to the outcome of the experiment, making it ineffective. Thousands of animals are killed each year due to tests such as the Draize test and the LD50. Tests such as the LD50 are known to inject a group of animals with the medicine. Whether half of the group dies or not, it is held to be effective. 92% of the drugs fail in clinical trials after they are passed in animal tests because human reactions are vastly different to those in animals, stated in the Washington Post. We are knowingly killing off animals to create what we call perfection of beauty. Another con to animal testing is that it is very expensive to carry out these experiments. Therefore, experimenting on animals should not even be taken into consideration. From the animal testing facts, it is also assumed that most of the animals die due to human errors that occur either in the concentration of the drug or the amount. This again is considered a wastage of life. This meaning We do not even know how to perform the experiment safely, and until we learn how to do that, these experiments should not be tested at all. The side against the animal tests claim that the main reasons for conducting animal tests is to earn profit and the expense of animals and avoiding lawsuits from unsatisfied customers. Most of the time, these animals are used in the research of diseases that are not found in the animals naturally, such as different types of cancers which develop in humans, such as HIV. I have a quote from Melvin E. Anderson. He's a director from the Division of Computational Systems Biology at the Hamner Institutes of Health Sciences. He said, the reason we use animal tests is because we have a comfort level with the process, not because it is the correct process, but because it gives us any real information we need to make decisions. So my plan of action. There are other alternatives to animal experimentation. As portrayed in the article from the Washington Post, scientists can use human tissue samples to test many vaccines. Scientists never test the disease progression in the animals, which gives us all a blind spot from the outside looking in. If animals are tested for effectivity rather than safety, it would show how helpful animal testing really is, or isn't. Each species reacts differently to various substances. The genes vary from animal to animal, so the effectiveness can never truly be tested. If using actual human tissue during the experimentation, the test will be a lot more effective. Although some people believe that animal testing can save lives, there's no firm evidence that animal testing has saved anyone's life, so most drugs can probably be developed without the use of testing animals.
All right, Michelle, the proposition that you present is phrased as a question or as not as a declarative sentence. So why it is unnecessary? No, your answer should be it is unnecessary. We don't need the question word in there. That is superfluous for our purposes. There's no layout of the content or the structure of the speech, so we're not exactly sure how it's going to develop. And in the body of the speech, I didn't really hear a particular structure. In fact, it sounded like a couple of ideas were repeating themselves in different spots. So there needs to be a lot more structure to the material. You did have one or two distinct areas. For example, right at the end you come up with a solution, but of course the solution is a separate claim. You're arguing that that would work or that would be an effective alternative. That's different than arguing whether or not animal research is necessary. I think that if you argued it as a way of demonstrating that animal research is unnecessary, that would be more practical. I think you're conflating all of the cosmetic tests and the safety tests and the medical tests, and they need to probably be evaluated using different standards. Your statistics, for instance, about 75% and 92%, I'm not sure if they apply to the medical research that's being done, if they're applying to the cosmetic research that's being done, if they apply to both of those sorts of things. The Washington Post is a very generic source, and when you've got statistics like that, I don't know that the Washington Post did the research that came up with that, and so that kind of undermines the credibility on those. I'd like to know more about that information before I accepted those particular conclusions. Like I said, organizationally, I think that there were some problems in the body of the speech. You had some statistical information, a couple of quotes that you're citing, and I think that that helps. But there are also a whole bunch of presuppositions that are made in the argument. For instance, that these things are not tested on animals, that they are automatically cruel conditions. And the biggest problem that I run into in several spots in the speech is that you've got value claims that you're using to support what is supposed to be a claim of fact, and that is problematic. All right, thank you.